dear Ferdinand and Ronita. Don't you make a wonderful couple? But today you look gorgeous. The other day while I was talking to both of them, I found the name of Ferdinand quite long. And I said every time I got to say Ferdinand. And he made me feel very comfortable by saying, you can call me Ferdie. See, and I was so relaxed after that. It made a lot of ease for me. This evening, both of you have come here for one single reason, and that reason is love. What we are witnessing this evening started 5 years ago. It started on a Maundy Thursday. Any one of you remember the date in 2016, the day when we celebrated Maundy Thursday? Maybe we don't even remember the day in 2021 when we celebrated Maundy Thursday. But this young lady here, Ronita, has a sharp memory for details, and she remembers very clearly that it was on the 24th of March 2016 that she first set her eyes on Ferdie. While we were at the most solemn Eucharist celebrating the Last Supper, this lady's eye caught this tall man standing out in the crowd. And having set her eyes on him, her heart began to flutter. There was a ting that happened in her heart. And then, instead of focusing on the Lord in the altar of repose, she was busy searching out where this guy Ferdie is. But matches are made in heaven, they say, and this is one proof of it. Because as God should have his ways, they got introduced to each other. And then I came to know from Ferdie himself that he was equally distracted, and his heart also began to flutter, and the ting also happened within him. And therefore, brothers and sisters, what we are celebrating today is something that God ordained already 5 years ago. The other day while we were having a chat with each other, I asked both of you, why do you want to get married to each other? And both of you confirmed for me that there was only one reason, namely you deeply loved each other. And you found in each other a very caring person, someone whom you would like to live your life with. And in Ronita's words, Father, I love him so much, I want to live with him for the rest of my life. Just beautiful words, Ronita. And I hope the Lord will grace those words of yours and bless both of you to have a long, happy married life together. It so happened, while they were talking to me, I remembered that little poem that we had in school. Mary had a little lamb, and wherever Mary went, the lamb followed. Ferdie went to Canada, and the lamb followed. And so it is now that both of them are here together. Keep that poem in mind, because that poem is a beautiful poem to remember. When you follow each other in love, you will never, ever miss your footsteps, ever. The readings that you chose today for your wedding are very, very appropriate. The gospel today tells us one thing: I give you a commandment. I give you a commandment. Love one another. Love one another. And I'm sure you know the meaning of loving each other, right? Maybe not fully today, but as the days began to roll by and as the years began to roll by, you'll discover what agapian love means, what that self-sacrificial love means. And if you want to understand it more fully, don't look at me, look at the cross ahead of you. That is the fullness of agapian love. Look at your parents, the model and example that they have given you down these years. And St. Paul so beautifully puts it for us in the reading of the Colossians today. He says, put on love, And what is love? Compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, bearing with one another, and most important, a commodity which is so rare today. If anyone has a complaint about each other, forgive each other. Forgive each other. St. Paul goes on to say another beautiful thing. He says, let the word of Christ dwell in your hearts. Let the word of Christ dwell in your hearts. What is that word that Christ wants you to keep in your heart today? That one single word, love. 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 Because remember, God created both of you in His image, in His likeness. Ferdie, have you found your missing rib today? As the book of Genesis says, you're bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And God has ordained married life and married love so that man and woman together may experience that one flesh. That one flesh, as we know, is not about simply a physical being together. It's much more than that. It's much more comprehensive. It's my emotional life, your emotional life. It's your spiritual life. It's your psychological life. It's your social life. It's your family life. And that is why we say, today you two are not getting married. Or rather, let me put it differently, lest you may misunderstand. You two are getting married, but also your families are getting united in this marriage. You are going to become a daughter of the Pinto family, and you are going to become a son of the D'Souza family. And that is what it means to say one flesh. From today onwards, your friends are going to be his friends, and his friends are going to be your friends. And everything that you do together will take you ultimately to becoming that one flesh. And therefore, Ferdie and Ronita, if you want this marriage to be as beautiful as it is today, as exciting as it is today, I have a little word of suggestion for you. Take this reading from St. Paul and frame it up in a place where you can see it every day of your life. And at least once a week, and you're free from all the challenges of life, sit down together and read this together. And I can assure you, if you read this week after week, week after week, you're going to be celebrating your Golden Jubilee together. St. Paul also reminds us to have Christ in our marriage. The image that St. Paul gives us is of Christ, the bridegroom, and the church, his bride. And this is something for you, Ferdie. St. Paul tells us that Christ is faithful to his church, no matter how sinful his church is. And therefore, for both of you together, be faithful to each other, just like Christ is faithful to his church. I want to commend both of you this evening in a very special way. And I want to tell all of you a secret which perhaps none of you have ever heard. You know, when these two young people were in Canada, they were under immense pressure from their friends and their peers. Why can't you live together? Why can't you live under the same roof? Why can't you share the same bed together? After all, you can save a lot of money on your rent, isn't it? And on your transport, isn't it? And both these young people told me that we decided to be single and to consummate our life only when we were legally and sacramentally married. And that is why I want to appreciate you this evening. I want to congratulate you this evening because of your firm moral resolve to live your life by the values of Christ. As someone said, we should not be only Christians in name, we should also be Christians by our very life. And this is why I felt so confident. I was so happy to spend time with you the other day, because I said, here is a young Christian couple. I can be sure that you, if you continue living this high moral standard and these deep convictions of your life, you will become a beautiful model for many, many other Christian couples. Do not feel afraid to share what I just shared today evening with other people. Do not feel afraid to share this. This should be shared. This is valuable. This is significant. This is wonderful. The last thing I would like to tell you is this. In whatever you do, and these are the words of St. Paul once again, in whatever you do it always in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, giving thanks to God in every situation of life. You know, it may seem a very pious advice to a young couple to say, do everything that you want to do in the name of Christ, giving thanks to God, our Father. But I can tell you, there are going to be ups and downs in your life. The road is not always straight. The road can be zigzag. There can be blind curves. There can be obstacles that you come across unexpectedly. And in every situation, remember, Christ is a partner in your marriage. Remember that Christ is accompanying you from today in your married life and married love. And therefore, no matter what circumstance of life comes across to you, you will be able to make that road of life if you take Christ along with you. Give thanks to God in every situation, in the good and the bad, and you will see His love flourishing in your life. Ferdinand, as I said, is a 4-syllable word, quite long, Ferdinand, and then now he says, okay, Ferdie. So I was thinking to myself the other day while I was talking to them, I said, Ferdie and Ronita still doesn't, I've still got to use about 5-6 syllables. And then it suddenly struck me, it's something that maybe you would like to keep for yourself, okay? I said, this couple, Ferdie and his bride, Birdie. Congratulations to both of you. Wish you many, many days and many, many years ahead of a happy married life. And remember that we are constantly with you, praying for you, supporting you, encouraging you along this journey of life. Amen.